All right, y'all. Your girl is back with yet another one. Your girl is tired. I'm telling you that now. This is my final reaction for the day. So I hope y'all enjoy. If it's your morning getting ready to get started, I hope your day goes beautiful. Don't let nobody tick you off. Okay? Remember who you are. And if you're getting ready to go to bed, thank you for tuning in. Have a peaceful night of good sleep. Just make sure before you go to sleep or you getting up that y'all going to go vote, because you got today and tomorrow's the big day and that's the last day, okay? So, with that being said, y'all, we finna dive into it. Coming from Fox News, former damn Pollster would rather be Trump ahead of election day. Okay, that is the title of this. So we gonna get into it, and I'm gonna brag on each reaction that I can, because I was able to go to my first Trump rally ever in my history. Let me just say, not to toot my own horn, toot toot. And I loved every bit of it. I love the energy. I love the love that was given there. I love how we all came together because we all want the same thing, and that's change. I love how when he asked who did early voting already and everybody raised their hand in the crowd, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And some of you may not be able to get there until the actual day to vote, but it's the fact that you are going. So give yourself a really big hug, and I'm going to hug you too, and say that I love y'all. Get out there and go do what needs to be done, y'all. No matter who you voting for, let your voice be heard. Because at the end of the day, we all want something that may not be the same thing, but you got up and you did what needed to be done. Okay? And that is with love. I don't care what side you're voting on. Okay? As long as you're going out to go vote. All right? So, with that being said, let's get into the video, y'all. Final video tonight, because your girl is tired. So, let's get into it.
I know my mind wants to do one thing, my heart wants to do another thing.
I'm a Trump girl, so I feel like there's a lot of enthusiasm for Trump, and we're just driving around and see all the signs.
I'm voting for Kamala, and I personally, I thought under Trump's presidency, the country was a little bit too chaotic.
All those women in Pennsylvania, you hear their thoughts about the race come Tuesday, and that brings up the issue of the gender gap. And we saw it in an NBC poll just out, and how big that split is pretty significant. If you look at women at 57 for Harris, men at 40, and then 58-41 for Trump. The Real Clear Politics average nationally now stands at Trump at 48.5% to Harris at 48.3%. What about this? Let's break down where these races stand on the final weekend of the campaign. Joining us tonight, Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff of President George W. Bush, political consultant, co-founder, and chairman of Purple Strategies, Alex Castellanos, and Mark Penn, former advisor and pollster for President Bill Clinton. He's CEO of Stagwell, chairman of the Harris Poll. I feel like I have the brain trust here. The big names.
CPR, right here. Castellanos, Penn, and Rove.
Okay, there we go. Where are you right now?
Coin toss. This thing is too close to be affected by the last-minute decisions of voters and by the quality of each side's ground game.
We've seen that
if you look at all three of these sort of major aggregators, RCP, 538, and Silver Bulletin, today four of the 21 numbers they gave us, three aggregators times 7 battleground states, 4 of them are 2 points. 7 of them are 1 to 1.9, and 10 of them are less than 1 point separating the two in these states.
Mark Penn, who do you want to be right now? Which side do you want to be this evening, looking at what you're looking at?
Well, I'd rather be Trump this evening for the simple reason that there are lots and lots of polls that show it dead even. The only fact we know is that the Republicans have done a lot better in the mail-in and early voting than they ever have. And I believe that they were losing 1 to 2 points in voters who never showed on election day who supported them. And so the fact is they're better off. The jobs report was 12,000 jobs, which was pitiful. I would have taken Trump's hand, although I know my Democratic friends are in fact cheering tonight. They feel a lot better since that Iowa poll came out, and they feel good momentum on the ground.
We're talking about the Iowa poll. This is Des Moines Register, and this poll had Harris up, Alex, 3 points. And there you see Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at 3 points. An Emerson poll came out with Trump up 10 just about a half an hour before that. Polling in the last few days before an election, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm ready to say, let's kill all the pollsters instead of the lawyers, except my friend Mark Penn. I like Mark Penn. I think the pollsters are getting this wrong. We're all missing something because they're giving us the same poll over and over again. There isn't even statistical variation. 95% confidence level means that 5% of the time you're going to get a crappy poll. We hardly ever see that. It's like they're telling us we're watching a basketball game where every play is a jump ball. Somebody's missing something. What I think they're missing is a massive shift in voter registration underneath all of this. 31 states have voter registration by party. 30 of them in the past 4 years have seen movement toward Republicans. Miami-Dade County is now voting more Republican. Iowa was +1 Republican. It's now +10. And yet we're getting these surveys that I think are off base. Somewhere, somebody is missing something. I think I'm not going to call it a wave, but I think there's a wavelet out there of Republican enthusiasm and registration. If I register to vote Republican, whether I'm switching or new, what am I going to do?
We just don't know where the independents are that have already voted. There's a big significant chunk of those, and if they break in a significant way towards Harris or towards Trump, it obviously determines the election.
Well, and look, Alex is right about the Republican registration gains like in Pennsylvania and North Carolina, and even Nevada. Used to be the old rule of thumb was you had to have 70 to 100,000 person gap between Republicans and Democrats for the Republicans to have a chance. It's 19,000 now. But you put your finger on it. At the same time that the Republican registration has been rising in many of these states, like North Carolina, it's been outpaced by, in that case, the unaffiliated. It's there in Nevada. It's been outpaced by what they call the nonpartisans. But it basically declined to state not a Democrat, not a Republican, an independent. And we don't know how they're voting. Look, the Iowa poll, Ann Seltzer is a great pollster.
And has a great track record.
And has a great track record. However, she's suggesting that the state in this poll basically has moved 11 points away from Donald Trump. 1 out of every 5 people who supported Donald Trump 4 years ago no longer support him. I think we'd feel that.
Mark, I'm going to put up the New York Times Siena battleground state polls here, and they also caused waves this morning. And you saw the betting markets, all kind of moves going on, and people texting me like, is this a major shift? In the bottom of that poll, it says, across these final polls, white Democrats were 16% likelier to respond than white Republicans. That's a larger disparity than our earlier polls this year, and it's not much better than our final polls in 2020. Even with the pandemic over, it raises the possibility that the polls could underestimate Mr. Trump yet again. This is at the bottom of the poll in the little fine print. And it kind of encapsulates the whole thing that we're looking at here, right?
Well, I think that's the big question that you really have going into this. Is there Trump enthusiasm and is there Trump shyness when it comes to polls? That non-response number by Republicans is serious, that they don't want to give their views in polls. Look, I think there's no question that there have been some registration changes, but no matter how close the polls are, the underlying change is the Republican Party is now a working class party. The Democratic Party is now a professional upper class party. And that is what we're seeing play itself out. And we don't know the result because we don't know if the professional upper class is really going to win, combined with the minority vote versus the working class vote, with a lot of senior men, particularly, downscale men who have shifted to Trump. There's a battle here. This is not a homogeneous country or a homogeneous situation by any means. That's why it's so difficult for these polls to call it.
I can, tell that I'm around smart people when they all nod together. When you say something and
look, I'm over here.
We worked
Alex,
that out beforehand.
Yeah, right. Alex, what about closing with celebrities?
Yeah, they doing a really good job, these gentlemen, breaking things down. Because, again, this is a learning journey for your girl as well. So if y'all feeling it, they're doing a really good job, explaining everything. So let's dive back into the video. What's y'all thoughts? I'm sitting here learning. You know what I'm saying? We got today and tomorrow. And that's it, y'all. That's it. So you got to get out there and go vote. Let's go.
It didn't really work in 2016 for Hillary Clinton. You're going to have a number of concerts and a number of things. You obviously had Saturday Night Live last night. Thought about that and how it affects things.
People have too much information these days about who these candidates are and what they're going to do to be influenced by something like a celebrity. It does say class, though, to Mark's point. Are you with the working people or are you with the Hollywood and entertainment elite? May not be the best thing for Kamala Harris to use celebrities.
Last thing, do you think we'll know early in the night and have a picture of where this thing shapes up, or do you think we're going to have to wait until later?
We'll know some things, some trends that are in train, but I don't think we'll know how dispositive they're going to be. We're going to know early on, for example, in North Carolina, an early reporting state, Georgia and Florida, at say Black and Latino areas of those states. We're going to know from some of the early states how the rural white vote is doing, but we're not going to know, there's a complex pattern here, and there are so many variables that are going to have an outcome. If I had to pick one, I'd pick the one you started with. Is the gap among women going to be larger on behalf of Harris than the gap among men is for Trump? Because more women are going to vote. If Trump is lucky, it'll be 52. If Trump is unlucky, it'll be 53 or higher. But there gets to be a point where if the gap among women is bigger than the gap among men, it's mathematically difficult to win.
And we have this amazing thing, Fox News voter analysis, that's been in the field already. It's 100,000 that we will be able to look at those results of essentially an ongoing poll/exit poll that will be able to tell us if it's matching what the real numbers are, which is why we can make projections like we make them. Guys, thank you so much. Carl, Alex, Mark. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Speaker at
y'all.
his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. Now, I know some of you guys are tempted to think it's macho guy. I'll tell you what, man. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
I would probably look at the numbers. I would look at the race and say, I'm going to focus on being president for the next couple of days. And that's probably the best. That's the best thing he can do for not just the Harris campaign, but himself and his legacy, too.
Yeah, President Biden on the trail this weekend got a little bit of coverage. Let's bring in our panel. Fox News chief political analyst Brit Hume, the 5 co-host Jessica Tarloff, Guy Benson, political editor at townhall.com, host of the Guy Benson Show on Fox News Radio, and Washington Post columnist, American Enterprise Institute senior fellow Mark Thiessen. All those intros. Brit,
the panel's over, right?
Yeah. President Biden no longer, I don't think, welcome on the Harris train.
Yeah, and it's, he's Biden being Biden. He's always been gaffe prone. Now he's gaffe prone and senile. And the Harris people are going to be saying, would you please just take a rest, watch the games? There's lots to do, Mr. President. Please stay off the trail. And he's proud, and I guess he's disappointed, and he's being Biden.
Deployed in Philadelphia, Jessica. I mean, obviously, Pennsylvania is still the center of the universe.
Totally the center of the universe, and their schedules reflect that on both sides of the campaign, though. Donald Trump's having to spend more time in North Carolina than I think they would hope that he would have to this late in the game. President Biden, though, has a constituency that still likes him a lot, especially with black voters and senior voters who are big fans. And Kamala Harris has the chance to win seniors. I mean, if you look at the internals in a lot of these polls, she is performing beyond expectation. A lot of that due to the fact,
especially with women.
Well, yes, women across the board. And female seniors as well, but she is doing well with male seniors too, because she talks about prescription drug prices. She talks about lowering the cost of things that seniors, and protecting
things that
Medicare
she can do
and Social
now.
Security.
Really?
Rhetoric in closing days, Mark. Here is the former president, raised some eyebrows.
She talks about things that she can do now. Ain't she in the White House? She talking about stuff that she can do now, y'all. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
With his commentary, and then the New York governor.
We had the safest border in the history of our country the day that I left. I shouldn't have left. I mean, honestly, I have this piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is the fake news, right? To get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news, and I don't mind that so much.
You're voting for these Republicans in New York. You are voting for someone who supports Donald Trump, and you're anti-woman, you're anti-abortion, and basically you're anti-American because you have just trashed American values and what our country is all about over and over.
Okay, so shoot through the news media, and then you're anti-American if you vote for the Republicans.
Yeah, so garbage, Nazis, fascists, and now you're anti-American. And Trump, there was a poll earlier this election that something said they asked, has Donald Trump ever said anything to offend you? And 6 in 10 said either no or not recently. so his goal should be between now and Tuesday not to say anything to offend anybody. Look, there's about a quarter of the electorate. There's a post-Shar school poll. Quarter of the electorate is not firmly committed going into this election day.
How is that possible?
It's amazing because
is it possible that Peggy Noonan had it right that they're undeclared? They're not undecided. They're really just undeclared.
It's a combination of people who say they're undecided or they're leaning Harris or leaning Trump, but they say they could change their mind. So that's the universe of those people where they're not firmly committed to one candidate. Those people are, I would say, they're not swing voters, they're reluctant Trump voters. 7 in 10 are moderate to conservative, 74% disapprove of Biden, 68% disapprove of Harris, 79% say the economy is doing poorly, and 52% said Trump would do a better job of handling the economy. Only 18% say that Harris would, but they have not committed to Trump.
Guys, the close for Harris seems like she is taking a softer pitch. She is trying to do the unity thing, common ground. I like common ground. I'm a big fan of common ground. But it does sound like her pitch has changed from fascist to, whatever, to now.
That's a tough heel turn. Fascist, Hitler, unity. Doesn't really go together, but she's trying. I understand that because she's trying to make a play for these final decider independents, basically. That's what she's attempting to do. Big ad she ran today, I think a 2-minute ad, basically making that pitch. If I'm the Trump campaign, I'm not an expert, but I would suggest maybe spending a lot of time talking about the worst jobs report in 4 years would be a better idea than anything else, or maybe the terrorist attack and anti-Semitic hate crime committed by an illegal immigrant who entered the country under Kamala Harris in Chicago.
Which, by the way, hasn't gotten a ton of
which is why I brought it up.
Besides here.
I know. I feel like these are two closing events that play right into the strengths of Donald Trump, and leaning into that just strikes me as a good plan for the Republicans as opposed to all the rhetoric conversations that we're having.
We talk so much about the numbers, Britt, but the bottom line is that you think there'll be a surprise on Tuesday?
Well, there'll be some because we'll get them in down ballot races.
Yeah.
There's always a bunch of those, or several at least. The surprise would be if somebody won big, right? I'm not saying massive landslide, but if we had an early night and a convincing win for one or the other, that would surprise us all because we've been looking at polls for several weeks now that have all been basically the same, which makes me a little suspicious of them all.
Yeah.
That they're all coming out.
Which those guys said earlier, the pollsters.
Yeah, well, yeah, even they were suspicious of the pollsters, suspicious of the polls. So, you do have to be, but yeah, I think there's likely to be
I think one thing is clear. It's either going to be really, really close, Harris is going to run away with it, or it's a Trump landslide.
Yes. Thanks for narrowing that down for me, Britt. Was there a question in there? One thing that you have to consider in all of this, and I've been wondering where the press releases from the Trump campaign have been about their ground game. I mean, the Harris campaign was knocking on 2,000 doors a minute yesterday in Pennsylvania. We're talking hundreds of thousands of phone calls being banked.
May also make some people mad, but anyway.
But that's not, then you put that little sign outside
no, they're
that
very
says,
accomplished. They're very accomplished.
And ground game matters, and those late deciders in all of the surveys are breaking towards the Harris campaign, and the Madison Square Garden rally has been a pivotal moment in that. Whether you took it, the Puerto Rican garbage moment, carving watermelons, which was the centerpiece of LeBron James's endorsement. I mean, that was overlooked, the racism of that comment.
The question is whether the celebrities move the needle, and I asked that question earlier, but you're right on ground game. That's a big question for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Panel, thanks.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
And there we have it. Fox News, y'all. Fox News. So what are y'all final thoughts? We still got today and tomorrow. Tomorrow being a big day. You know what I'm saying? To drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. Y'all, let's chop it up in the comments. What are y'all final thoughts? You know what I'm saying? How are y'all feeling? I want to know y'all thoughts and stuff. Put them in the comment section. Let's talk. Let's talk it up. What do some of y'all think? You know? Don't matter which side. What are your thoughts? As long as you're respectful in the comment section, just be respectful. Because if not, I'm just going to remove you. I ain't no need. I ain't going to be able to get all of y'all. But I do have some people. They got my back in the comment section. So they'll go ahead and get you. So, I mean, what do y'all think? Tomorrow's the big day. What did y'all do to make a change? Let me know in the comment section. Did you get out and go vote? Are you going to go vote? What are y'all doing? I voted last Monday. And my boss was like, hey, y'all want to go vote? I was like, yeah, can I go vote? Like, you'd only vote one time. I was like, I know. I go vote again and again and again if I could. But I've done what I needed to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a God-fearing woman. So I'm just going to, I put the rest in my man's hands. That's all we can do. And I'm just praying that, you know, everything goes the way it needs to go. And that's just simply fair. You know. Yeah, that's it, y'all. This is my last reaction for the day. I love y'all. Shout out to my supporters. Y'all know y'all consider my family. You subscribe to me, we family. Shout out to my tribe, y'all. My beehives. Okay? I see y'all girls hard. I'm about to take it in. Just showing y'all some love. Please go do what y'all need to do. Please go do what y'all need to do. And we'll chat it up tomorrow. I'm probably going to knock my reactions out early because I ain't going to lie to y'all. I'm going to be tuning in big time.